Hello. Good afternoon, club. Good afternoon, club. Thank you. All right, all you people grazing on the side, let's get our lovely show on the road. Welcome. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Oakland, the third oldest club out of 42,000 Rotary clubs in 200 countries. Welcome. Welcome to Oakland. Hello, my friends online. Who's over there? Hi, Linda. Let's see. Hi, Wise. Linda, another Linda. Hello, Linda. Marland. Deep, hello. Bill, nice to see you. Jim, how are you? Welcome, Zoomers. Great to have you. All right. Has everybody checked in on their social media that they are at the Oakland Rotary Club? Check in on your phones. This is the only time to use them. And turn off the dinger. All right. Do we have any guests of Rotarians in the room? How about some guests?
That's going to be too loud.
Do I see any guests in the room? I know that Teresa has one. Right here, Teresa. And?
Well, I'm already here.
Keith, do you have a guest?
Keith, it's really loud, so just don't.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, Jason. Today, my guest is Casey Farmer. Those of you who don't already know her, she's been very active in Oakland for a number of years, even though she doesn't look like it. But anyway, Casey Farmer.
Hi, Casey. Welcome, Casey. I know I met another guest.
Ralph, can we turn this down, Ralph?
Gary, do you have a guest?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. Tell us who else is here.
I'm Teresa Wyan. This is my son, Luke Wyan, and he wants to be a Rotarian so badly. All he needs to do is get a job so he can pay the dues.
All right, Luke. We're going to look for a job for you, man. Thank you. Welcome, Luke. Gary Flaxman.
All right, now we go to the G-Flax, as we're calling them now, G-Flax.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, President Shannon. I am very, very fortunate to invite to have two guests. I have John Bowders running for County Supervisor, and I have Ledette Queen Bee. So we're really blessed today.
Welcome. Hello.
I have one more. So Felix works with our honored member Kurz Clausen, and he's here with Carrie.
Right on, that makes sense.
Great. Is that any other guests? Any visiting Rotarians? Anybody online? I think we're good to go with our thought for the day. Please welcome Mary Rudster.
Good afternoon. Today's thought is about hope. Emily Dickinson wrote, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." As Rotarians, whether battling polio globally or addressing intractable problems here in our often maligned but nevertheless beloved Oakland, let's never give up hope. Let's never stop at all.
I'd say hope is the magic, right? Hope is the magic. All right. We have one of the president's jobs is to recognize members that have passed. I'd like to have a moment of silence today for Paul Cummings. Paul was in our club for 23 years, and he passed recently, and you'll have to look up any information that's pending on his service. So for a moment of silence, please, for Paul. Thank you. Barbara Beery, we know you're off for another adventure, but we would love to know some of these wonderful things that you have been doing. Please welcome Barbara Beery.
Thank you, President Shannon. There were 4 of us who went to India, including Dana Sack and G-Boy Koshi from Fremont and Rochelle Karpelis. So the 4 of us were in India traveling around to the 6 different institutions where this club has supported global grants and projects. And it was really impressive to see at the 2 government hospitals, we saw medical equipment, one in Mumbai, one in New Mumbai. And then we went to 2 private hospitals, one just for children, focusing on congenital heart disease. And they were doing amazing things to prevent it as well. And then we went to see check dams. Check dams catch monsoon rain and drain it back down into the the water table. And so then the wells that had dried up work again. It was phenomenal. And then we went to a little clinic in a very little village called Ganeshpuri, where we have done 5 projects. And everyone was completely impressed with the dedication of the staff, the quality of the service, and the impact that they were creating on the indigenous tribes of that Tansa Valley, 2 hours north of Mumbai. So, Dana, which was your favorite project?
All of you should be very proud of your contribution to the 2 dams we helped build. One was about 15 feet tall and one was about 7 feet tall. And initially the thought was that on the taller one that there'd be 7 to 10 villages that would be able to take water from the reservoir, about 1,000 people. Instead, as Barbara said, the aquifer has been recharged for miles and miles around. More like 100 villages have been impacted and 100,000 people now. The way this started was they would get 1 crop a year, and the men would then go to Bombay and be away for their families. And they, in the course of their various odd jobs, ran into several Rotarians from the Bombay Queen City Club, and that's how this all came about. Those husbands and fathers, some of whom we met, now are home all year long. Their daughters, instead of having to help with housework all day, are now going to school and have ambitions, including ambitions to join the Army so they can get out of the little village. But it was just staggering, the impact that a few $1,000s building these very small, simple dams has impacted 100,000 people in an enormous way. The leverage is just fantastic. So be very proud of your contributions.
And you should see Dana with a turban. Wherever we went, I know, I'm so bad at pictures. Somebody needs to help me. I am really happy to bring back a couple of mementos. Shannon is fond of giving goodie bags out to new members, but I want to give her a feeling of what it was like for us to be feted wherever we went. So.
Oh my goodness, how beautiful.
And then,
Oh, I love it. My favorite color.
And we visited the Bombay Queen City Club. We visited the Bombay Queen City Club for a very special event. I mean, top drawer. And so I would like to give you this flag from the Bombay Queen City Club. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the one you were going to. Oh. No, that's okay. So that was the one Dana was going to do, I'm sorry. So this one actually comes from a Nepal club, and I look forward to telling you about my trip to Nepal at another time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
One last word for visiting clubs. Rochelle and I were in the city where the Taj Mahal is for a Thursday night, and we looked on the Rotary International website, found that there was a Rotary meeting nearby that evening, and we showed up completely unannounced, no warning to them, and they couldn't have been more gracious and welcoming and enthusiastic to see us. So whenever you're traveling, please try out any random Rotary club. It's amazing.
One of the best. Thank you so much, guys. I'll give this to you. Wonderful. One of the benefits of Rotary is lunch anywhere in the world. Teresa, is there anybody in the room that is having like little BlackBerry stickers still in their hands? I kind of have a few. But so do some other people. We had a great
And Rotary's motto is service above self, but there was also some service above sweltering this weekend. We pulled weeds, we cleared the underbrush in order to make the forest more fireproof, and some of the people that came did come away with some injuries. I think we've got 2 that have some poison ivy or oak. Gary Flaxman cut his arm. So there was a lot of drama going on at PAL Camp. And I'd like to have everyone who participated stand up so that we can recognize you. And I just wanted to say, if you're a new Rotarian, you do not have to be a member of a committee to do service. Our next service day will be December the 14th at St. Vincent de Paul. Please put it on your calendars. A special shout out to Allison Bliss, Wendy Takuda, and Kathleen Uribe for bringing our snacks. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We had a great time, and the BlackBerry stickers are, they're friends of mine now. So Gary Flaxman was there too. Gary, I just wanted to say, good job. And you know what else? You're the king of bringing guests. And I want to thank you sincerely. And I want everybody to model Gary Flaxman. He brought 10 guests to the Boca Nova event. 10. He has 3 guests today. He has guests all the time because he does not want to keep Rotary a right. Hello. Please bring guests. They have fun with us. They don't have to join, just bring a guest. It'll happen on its own if you bring a guest. So I also wanted to say by the way, anybody that brought guests to the Boca Nova event, you need to follow up, please, with your guest and see if they can come to lunch. We'll help you, Gary. You had 10. Okay. Let's see. We Care Committee. The We Care Committee has been amazing. Julie, come here. The We Care Committee, we've had a couple of Rotarians recently that have needed help, that have been a little isolated, that have been sick, and I've been so busy that I got this call from Julie, and she goes, did you hear how many people offered to help? It's pretty amazing. Isn't it amazing?
It's incredibly amazing, but that's what we Rotarians do. Should I tell the story of it?
Go.
So we had a member that just happened to speak to, has pneumonia, has asthma, and asthma, bedridden. And I said, oh, what can we do? She said, I'd really like it if somebody could pick up my medication at Rotary Oakland and deliver it to my home. I said, we'll take care of it. She said, and I need it today because of my asthma. So I put out a call to our committee. It just gives me the chills because the response was just overwhelming. Immediately, people started saying, I can do it. Someone said, I want to do it, but I can't be there till after 5:30. Somebody said, oh, I have a deadline. I can't do it till later, but I want to do it. And then somebody said, I'm going to do it, but I'm a little concerned because I don't want to be exposed. Then another Rotarian said, hey, no problem. I will deliver some N95 masks to you. And then somebody else contacted and said, you know what, I will do it, I'll take care of it. So I don't know, 8 responses, maybe 9, but everybody came together, and within an hour or two, it was all taken care of, and somebody went down, picked up the medication for the member, and anyway, it has a lovely ending. And I just want to thank and appreciate all of us, because this isn't just for the We Care people. All of us are Rotarians, and we would take care of any one of you just like you would take care of us, because that's what we do. We're Rotarians. I'm very humbled and proud to be part of this club. Thank you.
And I'm very humbled and proud to have you as the chair of that committee. And I want to say, if you know somebody or want to tell the We Care Committee, there is an email address on the Live Oak, and you can just call me, call Julie, but if we don't know, we can't help. And help is here, and we love taking care of our people. So nominating, today is a business day, but first I'd like to recognize two people, Ralph Sklar. Hello. Linda Hamilton is online, and they have both joined our board of directors to fill in for a couple of vacancies, so they've taken on, thank you very much, Ralph and Linda. Thank you so much for your leadership. So they came in to fill in a couple of part-time slots, partial terms, and we now need to nominate our regular rotation and a president-elect, because for those of you that are new, we actually plan ahead, and we make sure that people are ready for the job. So, Tom, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you, President Shannon. Isn't she doing a great job? So, I got to tell you, being president of the club it's one of the toughest tasks you could do at this club, but it's also probably the most rewarding. So with that, we are taking nominations. The nominations, it's important for you to come the next 2 weeks. We're going to be taking names next week for the nominating committee, and the following week, on the 25th, we will be voting on the nominating committee. So the nominating committee is made up of the 3 past presidents and 7 nominating committee members. So in order to be a nominating committee member, you must be in the club for 4 years or more and not be a board member. Also, it's really critical that you do not want to vote for someone that you want to see as the president-elect nominee, CJ. So CJ always manages to get on the nominating committee, which precludes her from being president. So, but we really need people to step up, be very thoughtful. Jesse sent a very thorough email yesterday about the process, the timeline, and the eligible members. So please take a look at your email, review the names, and let's try to encourage someone to step up to this leadership role. It's so impactful, it's so powerful. So I encourage whoever, if you're interested, please talk to one of the 3 past presidents, and we're happy to talk to you, even take coffee with you and talk to you a little bit more about what it requires. But you will be supported. Let me just put it that way. Thank you, Shannon.
He forgot to say how much fun it is to be president. So fun is part of the job description. All right. So we also, as part of our club, have different opportunities for training and for fellowship around our district. Our district stops here in Oakland. It goes all the way down to Scotts Valley and Santa Cruz, and it goes all the way over to Hollister. We have 62 clubs in our district, and every time I do a district event, I find networking contacts. I learn more about Rotary, and I have fellowship with my Oakland Rotarians as well. So I'd like to have Mary Jiang, who's very involved in the district, and a past president, please tell us about our event.
Good afternoon. So last week I promoted the Avenue service, and there's a nice screen, and I'd like to invite this club to go October 19, next Saturday, down to Milpitas. We're going to be at a Indian community club where 63 clubs now in the district get together to tell you what projects they're working on. Now, we heard from Barbara Berry today, the activity that we've been doing. But there's 5 avenues of projects, services that our district does. And you can see club service, vocational service, community service, international service, and youth services. So when you go to this event, you're going to see lots of booths, and you go around like a project fair, look at their club, look at their project, and they have international and local trips. So you can go visit one of these trips and go on to with other clubs. And it's really rewarding, and it's from 8 to 1:30, and the cost is $50, but the club will pick up the fee for you if you ask Jesse to register you. So I'm saying there is such thing as a free lunch on October 19th. Okay, so we have about 6 members that I know of from Oakland is going. I want to see at least half a dozen. So can we get 6 more people? Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So next up, we'd like to hear a little bit more about business development. This is a community service club, and we're trying to make sure that we also are healthy as business owners or business people. And so we want to make sure we can give as much opportunity as possible to help people promote themselves within the context of a service organization. So with that, I'm going to give it to Jesse and Jason.
Double J's. Thanks, President Shannon. Hey, Jason Weiselman from Cross Country Mortgage. Did you know that every Thursday Rotary meeting, we have 2 minutes set aside for a sponsor, for a meeting sponsor?
You know Jesse Schmidt of TNT Strength? I did know that.
Wow.
Because I am on the Business Development Committee, and I was a part of that committee that made this whole thing into what it is today, which is...
Sponsoring meetings.
That's what I'm talking about. Sponsoring meetings. By the way, how many people own a business? Raise your hand. How many people would
Let the record state 1,000 hands went up in the air.
2,000. I think I'm a numbers guy. Would you like to support the club? Would you like to support the club? Raise your hand. Would you like to have the club support you? Raise your hand. Would you like to have the club support you while you support it? Imagine the circle is closed right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Infinite support loop.
Infinite support loop. That's what we call it in the backside.
A lot of folks, especially new Rotarians, don't understand that there is an opportunity to stand up here at this podium and either promote your business or organization or an event that you have going on. And if we can put that slide back up, we have 3 sponsorship options. So one is just basically standing up here, talking from the podium. You'll also get published in the Live Oak.
We call that the hamburger.
That's the hamburger, okay? We also have a social media team that is just crushing it right now. Can we give a round of applause to Maurice Escan? Yeah. Stephanie Casenza, Isaac Cosreed. There's a team of folks who have been doing really great with this and growing. We have over 3,000 social media followers right now for this club. And we're a club of 250, as we know, very influential people in the city of Oakland. So that's the cheeseburger option, is you get to get promoted 4 times on our social media. And then the combo meal.
The combo meal is pretty impressive because they'll create an ad for you. They'll go on every one of our social media networks. They will run 4 times, 2 times before you speak, 2 times after you speak. And of course, anytime you get to speak to the club about your business, you're not only supporting yourself, but you're supporting the club, and we encourage you to do both. So jump in. Call one of us. Call David Sturkin. Kirsten, thank you. Or Shannon even, because she doesn't really care. She just loves to be inundated with people. So come on.
Thank you, everybody. Promote your business and promote Rotary.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we're going to start telling stories also. Pam Clausen, who do you work out with? Pam? TNT? Oh, you're one of his clients.
Pam, so many people complain. I mean, love.
Who's working on a mortgage for me?
Oh, I am, for you.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I am, that's true.
Oh, who sold me a building? Oh, Tom, you did. Oh, who introduced me to the CEO of Children's Hospital?
Jackie boy?
Jack McAvoy. You did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You introduced... Anyway, we are here...
We want you to be our first sponsor, Jackie Boy.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I remember Jack telling me when I had a struggling business and all I was doing was Rotary, he said, you need to be healthy in order to help us. And I had to chill out a little bit and get back to work. Yes, Alita. I hear a bell ringer. A bell ringer, for those of you in the room, is a generous $100 contribution to Oakland Rotary Endowment. Tax deductible. And the price hasn't changed in 30 years, probably 50
She
years.
insists on talking.
Alita.
I'd like to ring the bell for Shannon because she forgot to say that I frame all of her pictures.
And we're going to have more stories, so load them up. Load them up. Alita has had wonderful, wonderful patronage, doing fantastic framework. Thank you, Alita. Okay, so speaking of business, I'm going to remind you that I'm still going to remind you, if you haven't paid your dues, to please do so. And Pam actually has statements, all alphabetized. On your way out, please stop, and Pam will show you your statement, and you can pay for it right now and save us a stamp. So please help us with that. See that? Please help us get up to, all we want to do is get up to date. Okay, and then finally, we have a quick reminder about Fleet Week next week. I'm just mentioning that. And also we have an amazing Halloween party at the Chapel of the Chimes. Do you have your costumes? Are you going to wear that hideous clown? Or are you going to wear that t-shirt that was, that was bad. Anyway, we want to see some really good costumes. There will be prizes. Please come. It's really fun, and it's a Julia Morgan architecture to absolutely enjoy. So, did I forget anything? Any other bell ringers? Okay. All right. Yes, I see another bell ringer. Oh, see that? You can actually... And, you know, please... There you go.
We're going to let him talk
Hello,
to...
Nuno.
Thank you, President Shannon. I'm Nuno Ferreira. I wanted to ring the bell for John Clausen, who cooked up a good 350 corn dogs yesterday at Laney College. And interacted with all of the students and all of the faculty and everyone who came up and was just constantly smiling and just being, you know, a beacon for Rotary. So.
Well, and thank you for volunteering with him. And John, you're a hero. We're going to hear a little bit more about that next week. I actually bumped him next week because I want to show pictures of corn dogs.
The Corn Dog King.
Thank you, John. All right, well, that brings us to our main event. And CJ, would you like to come up and introduce this amazing speaker?
If nominated, I will not run. No, I'm sorry. Thank you, President Shannon. So I was lucky enough to meet Glenn Washington just after he won the Public Radio Talent Quest in 2010, beating out more than 1,400 entries. And shortly thereafter, he developed the Snap Judgment radio program, Storytelling with a Beat. By 2018, Snappas, as we call ourselves, could catch his show on over 400 public radio stations nationwide. It was downloaded over 2 million times each month. I'm sure the numbers are up from then. The show's popular Halloween programs in 2017 inspired the creation of Spooked, which quickly soared to the top of the podcast charts with its crazy but true ghost stories. Glenn Washington is a media personality and producer, host, creator, and executive producer in the fields of radio, podcast, stage, and television. He lives in the Grand Lake neighborhood and generously lends his time and talent to numerous community organizations. Please welcome my friend Glenn Washington.
Thank you so much, CJ. And Rotarians, I've been here a few times before. I am a 6 degrees of Gary Flaxman as well. And there's so many, I just heard, I'm assuming it's the Linda Hamilton I know being mentioned, and Rotarians. As a public media person, I'm not allowed to do political endorsements. But if I were, and I was cared about the park situation, I understand that Casey Minor is in the house today, who was a dedicated public servant and someone whom I would support if I could support people. So I want to talk to you today about all kinds of things, CJ. But so Snap Judgment, Snap Judgment some time ago. We started on a kitchen table. And the idea was to tell stories that mattered, tell stories that meant something, tell stories with empathy. And we launched this in 2010, and it caught on eventually. We were eventually able to pull this thing over the mountain. I'm super proud of this show. But our very first year, we thought, Snap is about real people, real stories. And we thought, what are we going to do for Halloween? What are we going to do for Halloween? And I just thought, well, let's just tell stories like we normally do, only maybe from a slightly different perspective. And so I met a friend of mine's father, Dr. Nandy, and he told me a story. He said, when he was 5 years old, and understand Dr. Nandy is an extremely respected a doctor, works with the Kaiser system. And he told me that when he was 5 years old, in Calcutta, India, he was extremely ill. He was expected not to make it past the next day. He looked out of the window as his mother rocked him and saw his uncles piling wood for his funeral pyre. As the mother rocked him, there was a knock on the door. And she went to check it, and there was a monk there. His robes were tattered, his hair long, his fingernails dirty. And he told the mother that he'd heard there was a sick boy. And he came to help, and he told her that if there's anyone in the house who's willing to take the boy's pain, I can save his life. The mother's like, I have these other children to raise. What are you talking about? And a servant came, and he said, I'll take the pain. And the mother said, no, you cannot. He said, I will take the pain. The monk asked him 3 times, are you sure? Are you sure? When he agreed, he laid down next to the boy. They were both wrapped in linens, and the monk began chanting. The skin of both turned various shades of blue and dark the entire night as the man writhed, sweating, at one point screaming. In the morning, they both stood healthy. And I asked the good doctor, now 75 years old, again, an extremely respected doctor right here in the East Bay. I asked him, sir, are you trying to tell me that a monk magicked a disease from you into someone else? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. And that story became the very first story that we told for an episode called Spooked. And Spooked, every year, we would do this on Snap Judgment. Snap Judgment's a national storytelling radio program, and every year we would have a Spooked episode. And every year, that episode ended up being one of the most popular episodes we did. And it got me thinking about what this is, about what supernatural storytelling is. I mentioned before, Snap Judgment is a show about empathy. We want to make people see the world through someone else's eyes. But in a lot of ways, Spooked is a show about wonder. And these are all real people, and they're all real stories, and it made me examine my own stories, things I can't explain. All of us have these stories that we don't know what to do with. And it's odd in our society, I think, that these stories that oftentimes mean the most, stories that determine who you marry, where you live, what you do for a living. Sometimes those stories about that we are afraid to share. We don't have the community. And I love it when people say, look at here, I don't really tell anybody this, but, and I have some of those stories of my own. I want to just tell you because I had put these back myself. These are stories I don't tell a lot. And then I started incorporating them because the response, it felt like we had loosed the dam. And I just want to tell you what happened to me, just a little taste of what's going on with this show, so you get it, because so many people have these stories. I'm going to share mine. When I was 7 years old, we moved to the middle of nowhere, Michigan. Nowhere. And to a farm. Well, actually it was a swamp. We moved to a swamp, and there was a brand new, gleaming in the noonday sun, wrapped in plastic, double wide trailer on the land. Oakland, y'all don't know about double wide trailers, but we were styling. This was moving on up big time. There were about 30 neighbors, farm people mostly, welcoming their new black neighbors to the middle of nowhere, Kingston, Michigan. Under the mobile home, there were feet, but they were moving. He was alive, and a man came out. Bill, I was talking to my dad. Bill, look, here. You know, I got Charlie underneath there, but you got to understand something. See, more important than sewer, more important than electricity is water. You're going to have to get yourself some water out here. You can't just hook on like they do in the city. This ain't the city, see? So you're going to have to dig yourself a well, and I brought Charlie here to make the arrangements. You said this is all-inclusive. Well, all-inclusive don't really include everything, Bill. You got to understand there's things involved, that sort of thing. You said all-inclusive. And I watched the men folk kind of gather. Pops is upset. He's not having it. I know we have everything we have in this mobile home. And you see him talking, and finally, they shake hands. Charlie comes out. And Charlie's a good man. He'll take care of you, Bill. And Charlie has to let everybody know what's going on. Again, they're farmers. Everyone's a farmer. Nobody's rich. So I'm going to put the pump where you tell me to. I'm only going to dig where you say. You are the decider. And even I'm 7 years old, I know what this means is that when he digs a hole, that's money. And everybody starts shouting for where to put the pump, where to put the pump. Put it over there by the cattails. Put it next to the house, that's where you need it. My father points to a place, sets at the pump. This is an old, antique, crazy-looking thing. He sets this thing up, starts adjusting tubes and wires, and sets it going. This long pipe pressing into the earth. Dirt. He's got to move it again. Sets the pump up. Nothing. And if you know him, you can see that tickle of panic start to come in my father's face. We don't have the resources for this. They set it down again. Nothing. And then the farmer starts shouting, "Need to get Kriegel, it's time for Kriegel, we need to go get Kriegel." Pickup truck takes off. About 10 minutes, a man comes back. And he's got a John Deere cap like everybody. But he has got this step like nobody else. "Kriegel has arrived. Colored people not to worry. Not to worry at all. Understand y'all need a whale witch." And the farmers are delighted. They're clapping and shouting. And he's like, he goes and he gets a knife and he cuts a bough from a tree, like a Y. "Understand y'all need a whale witching." And I'm like, no. We are the deepest of Christian folk. We are as Christian can be. Whale witching, Jeremiah 10 verse 3, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." Oh no, we're not witching up in this piece. And I'm waiting for my father to chase this man away, but he's steady talking. "Yeah, that's right. It was a colored who taught me this, so I'm gonna do it for y'all free of charge." And I actually see my father give him the nod. And he starts taking this bow. It's like he's holding one hand here, one here, and there's a Y right in front of him. "Where you at, water? Come here, water. Where you at? Come here, water. Hey, water, hey, water, hey, water, here. Come here, water. Where you at, water? Come on, water. Hey there, water. Cold water, cold water." What? What? "Come here, cold water. Come here, cold water." They're making fun of us. They're making fun of the new neighbors. It's not right. But everybody's into it. And I'm watching him like a hawk, and at one point, that stick dives straight down. No way. I saw it. No way. No way. What'd he do? And Kriegel sees me looking at him. "Saw it, didn't you? Saw it. Don't believe nothing. Come here. You want to learn how to do it? Come here. And he puts the stick in my hand. And I'm waiting for my parents to stop this. I'm waiting for this. We don't do witch stuff in my house. Go on ahead. Call for it. Go on ahead. "Here, water. Come here, water." "No! Call for it. Put your hip into it." "Here, water. Come here, water." That's better. "Come here, water." And I'm waving this stick around. And I'm walking around. "Go ahead. Water. I get to the spot. And the stick dives down so quick that the bark strips off in my hand. "He's a natural. What'd I tell you?" I can't believe what happened. I can't. The man moves the pump over. They set it up. The farmers got their fingers crossed. Kriegel's chilling. He's looking at the clear blue sky. He's already lived his life. He's cool. They start the pump. Shh, 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 shh. Water. Clean, cold, delicious water. What did I tell you? You are welcome. You are welcome, good people. You are welcome. The farmers cheer. Their wives come and they give us this stuff called casserole to eat. My mother, she promises we'll get some real food the next day. Me and my brothers, we go into the house. Pops is kind of turning on lights. The water's cold and running through it. Everything's cool. We go to bed. I get in bed right next to my brother. And I go to sleep. And in the middle of the night, I hear this howling. is keening. Then my door burst open. Get up! Get up! It's my father looking wild. Boys, get up right now! In the middle of the night, Satan came to me. And he said, because we use his water, we'll never see daylight again. We're never going to see the sunshine, boys. We have to pray to make the devil a liar. We reach screaming through the house, see my mother already bent over the couch, and I know this is all my fault. I'm the one who held that stick. And my brother grabs me around the neck and says, devil, you can't have my brother. And I am so sorry. And I'm crying and praying and crying. Our whole family bent over this couch, snot and tears and little kids sleeping in and out of it. And we don't have curtains yet. So when the first fingers of orange peek through the trees, and we know we can see the sun, we cry. We rejoice. We scream, so happy, so thankful that we've been forgiven for drinking the devil's water. Now that's my story. A lot of people have a lot of stories. And I am so thrilled, especially here in Oakland, because there's so many different types of communities, and we have so many different ways of looking over the bend at the void. We get so many amazing stories, and they bind us. When I hear someone's story, I feel like a compact has been joined. It's like a fraternity of the secret, and I am so thankful that they open themselves up to share. And if you have stories to share, Spooked is now on podcasts everywhere in all the world. You can get it. We did a live show at the Fox last year. We're going to come back again and do one next year. It's everywhere. We're going to hear it on your NPR stations, on KQD, KLW. Get Spooked. Rotary, thank you for having me today. I really, really appreciate it.
I don't want it to stop. It's like I want more stories. Really important, not only entertaining and fabulous, but important work to keep community tighter by telling our stories. And we have, for the last 40 years of hard work, Rotary and its partners are on the brink of eradicating polio around the world. But there are few remaining countries where polio continues to infect children. In recognition of your presentation today, we're making a donation in your honor for Rotary End Polio Now campaign to achieve a polio-free world. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. Do we have time for a question? Does somebody have any questions? I'd love to hear.
Here we go, Greg Agnes.
Have you take a question? I think he cut you off too soon. I don't know why.
No. Thank you, Glenn, for everything you do. Snap Judgment is a part of my Saturday routine, and I appreciate how you put in the detail of the area like Lake Merritt or Colonial Donuts into your stories. And actually, you were the speaker at the meeting I was inducted into, so now that's kind of, I have a story. You know? And in 2018, almost 6 years ago exactly to the date, so now that's a cool story I have.
That's awesome.
My question is, if it could be brief, is can you explain the kind of syndication or distribution of the national shows? How is that done? Is it geographic, or how is that done?
Yeah, the Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And explaining the syndication of NPR, you do not want to hear this, Rotary. I guarantee you do not. It's complicated beyond all measure. But I'll just say briefly, every single NPR station in the country is its own business. And so you have to go to every single one and say, you want to play my show? No. And you got to keep knocking. It took us a decade to be essentially, to have the coastal, bi-coastal, essentially wherever you are in the country right now, you can hear Snap Judgment, but it took a decade for that to happen.
All right, then. All right. I'm going to Bonnie. Hold on. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Glenn. Thank you for that. Do you have any tips for how anyone, an average person, could be a better storyteller?
That is a good question. I'll tell you, oftentimes, the best way to tell a story is to know the story and to know where you're going and then be able to throw away the notes. So some people, they're nervous or whatever it may be. I think oftentimes for a lot of people, if you are once you understand your own story, and you don't necessarily, I don't think that, oftentimes I will write a story and I have no idea, I think I know what it's about, but I have no idea what it's about until I finish it and get to, and one of the things that I think is important, we try to act like on Snap or on Spook that we just stumble onto a microphone and tell a story. No. It takes about 6 months to make each episode. Several drafts, several retellings, several edits to make it look like we just thought of the story that morning. That's theater. And don't let theater fool you. You have to work a story before you can tell a story.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, speaking of theater, one of our generous Rotarians, Garrett Reeg, has purchased 2 tickets to see Wicked. Jesse, you're going to have to help me. This Sunday matinee, and he can't go, and he'd like us to auction off or get somebody to buy the 2 tickets, and the money will be donated to ORE. So these lovely tickets are worth $279 per ticket, and we have 2. Do I hear anybody want to go? Does anyone?
Barbara?
$200. Barbara will contribute $200. Obviously, I'm not an auctioneer. Does anybody else have any interest in going to a matinee for Wicked?
Beating out Barbara, though, $200. Going once, going twice.
Yep.
Barbara Beery's lucky.
Thank you, Barbara. We'll let Garrett know. Really appreciate that. All right. So I want to say a huge thanks to all the amazing Rotarians who volunteered and contributed to making this meeting a success. Thank you, everybody who's working so hard. Don't forget to brush your tables when you leave, and until next week, until we see each other again, please go forth and share the... I'm sorry, that's my job. We had an immediate switch off in speakers next week, and so I am very happy to introduce that next week is going to be James Jackson, who is the CEO of Alameda Health Systems. He's an amazing community leader, and he will be speaking on healthcare and running a county hospital in Oakland, and he's an amazing guy. I served on the San Leandro Chamber of Commerce with him, and you will love meeting James Jackson. So that's next week. Anything else? Did I forget, Jason? Are there any bell ringers? I'd like to actually ring the bell for Greg Ennis for this 6-year anniversary story. So I'll ring the bell. So that's good. Because you're an amazing Rotarian. There must be some reason that you're back here. So with that, I'd like you to go out and make some magic in the community. Be safe on your travels. And this meeting is adjourned.